Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got it. We got
new 52 book.
it. Somebody clip this for the love.
Welcome to Comics League Live. I'm Jared. I'm here with Aaron from Immortal Rising. What's up, brother?
What? What's up, dog?
Heck yeah, and this is actually his return to Comics League, so welcome back.
I have returned.
Exactly. So you can
Thanks for
say
having
in
me
terms, so you can say in terms of Arnold, you're back, huh?
Yeah, I am back.
Yes. So today we are talking about, for one thing, Immortal Rising issue 2 and then issue 1.
Yeah.
So first off, I'm going to say issue 1 was great.
Awesome.
I again, like we said in the first issue, I like how it's basically telling two stories in one, because I like when I get more stuff. I like that. That's cool.
And I'm glad to hear that, because I would say one of the bigger critiques of, after seeing the reviews and stuff, one of the bigger critiques is that there's a lot going on in the first book. So I just want to tell everybody that the brakes are pumped a little bit, and we do slow down and we get to chew on the information from the first one. So
cool.
It won't be quite as fast paced. So
sweet. I cannot wait. So what can you tell us about issue 2?
All right, so I guess for starters, like, the first issue was everybody getting thrust together by fate and all this other stuff, and so now these strangers are stuck in this foreign land with a war either brewing or going on around them, and so in issue 2 we get to see them kind of like figure out how to work together, right? Like they're strangers, they even speak different languages, right? That kind of thing. So when they finally encounter in a emergency situation, we get to see how they handle it. A little spoiler, we're talking goblins attack a village, and our party's like, what? And it gets pretty crazy, put it that way. And their metal is tested, as the power metal fans would say. Yeah.
Sweet. As I love this. You could say they roll a d20.
Let's just say you got to read it to find out.
Oh boy, I cannot wait. That's gonna be good. But anyway, and yes, I labeled this as like the new Lord of the Rings, because let's face it,
you're gonna get me lynched, dude. I don't know what you're thinking.
well, here's why. Because after the travesty that was Rings of Power, it's not a high bar. So it's like, because if it's enjoyable fantasy, which this is, I'm like, you know what? I'll take that.
So, all right. So I wrote this comic. I wanted it to feel like a fantasy novel, and I was told that it does. So that's cool. And also, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you're gonna like this book. Another thing I heard was that there's practically something for everybody in like the nerd space, right? You've got like invading aliens. You've got they were compared to the Primarchs of 40K or something. So you've got the God story. You've got the low level, with the cleric character, right? The devout cleric. You've got the classic fantasy jobs like a ranger. There's like a sorcerer kind of deal. And you'll see it as it plays out. And what's cool is the series over time will have a power creep. So you will see the first level group get more and more badass. That is a thing. So
heck yeah, I can't wait. I love that, because it's called the character arc after all, right?
Yeah. And so this is based on it's loosely based on the campaign setting, my homebrew campaign setting that me and my friends have been playing for, I don't know, a few decades or whatever it is.
Oh wow.
And so like I know where all these characters end up. I know all of their motivations. I know all of their relationships, front and back. So it's just a comfortable world for me. I could write anywhere, at any time. And actually, so one of the things I've learned about being a new creator and new at all this stuff is that I'm kind of learning how to do like comics better, right? Like I'm starting to see some of my mistakes was I should have maybe try to cut it down in a 24-page thing so it's more affordable. Just the boutique comic indie scene is a little tricky and the margins are super thin. So, just going forward, I also have like one-shot stories. They won't always be these, 3 book arcs. So just to let all the future fans know.
That's good because that's the other thing. That's a part where I think the mainstream comics like fail, is that there's always like these big epic events with like 8,000 things are happening at once, and I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this story.
Well, I remember back in the 90s they were doing that kind of the crossover stuff with like Maximum Carnage. That's like 12 books. Was it Age of Apocalypse or Extinction Agenda? Like all those tied in all these different books, because it helped out all the
Marvel
the lesser read books.
Marvel's notorious for this because they did an event called King in Black where it's a Venom event. I have to emphasize it's a Venom. Every Marvel character had a tie-in.
Oh my gosh!
Even those that have no reason to have a tie-in, like Black Cat. I'm like,
well, is it because like did they all get to like wear the suit or something? Like actually,
I think it's like what were they doing when the symbiotes invade New York? Which I get that it's because it's like every superhero lives in New York according to Marvel, but it's still kind of stupid because the other problem I run into with these people when the mainstream makes a tie-in is that they put vital plot points in the most innocuous tie-in. So I'm like, the hell did this happen? Read Flash, the tie-in for Flash, and I'm like, it should be in the main story. It should be in the main story.
Yeah, but they got to tie them in to help sell flagging books or whatever. So
true that.
That's all right.
That.
I mean, it's a business. It's a business. They got to do it.
Yeah, but it really gives me hope when I see indie creators not essentially look what Marvel and DC did and not doing that.
Yes, I don't plan on doing a whole lot of that. And actually, so I have a one-shot story in the universe, but isn't tied to this main story. That was in Anvil magazine, I think number 2. So I don't know if anybody has that one kicking around, but you'll be able to see some examples of my writing and Jose's work on the project. So, and so also going forward, like I was saying, with some of those one-shots, I'll be making them as Immortal Rising Tales. So they'll be set in universe, but not a part of the main story. So, but first I wanted to crack out this 3-part story, show, any customers, hey, I can do this. This is what it looks like and stuff like that. And then they'll be more confident and be like, oh yeah, let me pick up all of this side stuff too. So that's the plan anyways.
Sweet. So let me ask you this. What was like and this is a question that also applies to issue 1, but what was the biggest challenge you faced in like writing this series?
I guess learning how to write comic style.
Yeah.
So like it is his own animal. You have to think more visually. You have, you gotta go to the dialogue and just start hacking balloons out. It's like, well, we don't need that, or that could be said in a different way. Because little spoiler, I actually I met Jose after I had the first issue done by a different artist. Then I met Jose, and that's when the God story, Knights of Locutus, was added to it. I met him. I was like, hey, will you do this? And then I'm blown away because Jose's work was much, it was at a higher level. And so I went and I asked him, I don't know, almost a year later, maybe not a year, but anyways, later on, I was like, hey, will you just redo issue 1 for me so that I have continuity? Actually, I got ahead of myself. I had issue 1 done. So I had Jose do whole issue 2 for me. And then I had him go back and I said, hey, let's keep the art continuity. will you redo issue 1 for me? So that's what I put out before this one. That is Jose's version of issue 1, and I'll probably sell the original issue 1 as like a side thing, you know, for like the serious kind of backers. I did that on the original campaign. I put it up, you know, as like just a little teaser, you know, hey, if you really want, you can have this, you know, as and I'll probably do that again, at least until I get rid of them all. So,
well, yeah, if you have an extra inventory, there's no other reason not to. That's true.
Well, and I never plan to print it again. So, like, you know, you get it now or you don't. But which you got to have that stuff for like the real collectors, you know.
Yeah, you got to have that. You got to have it graded. You got to put it behind plastic and all that.
Yeah, actually, so when I first printed it out, I had some friends from work. One of them's big into comic books and stuff. He spearheaded. He like secretly behind my back. He got like some coworkers to buy a few copies of the original, and he sent them off to get them all graded. And I don't have mine right now, but they gifted me one, and it was like a 9 point something, 9, I want to say 5 or something like that, graded scale. It's like, man, that is awesome. There, I signed them all and everything. It was really fun. So
that is cool. That's got to be cool to have the CGC logo on your stuff.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's got to be sweet. So you told me before we started that you actually had some stuff to show off for issue 2.
I do. Give me 1 second. Let me present. Let's see, window. 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me figure this stuff out before I share.
It's all good. Technology, am I right?
Technology. Yeah, for real. All right. Then we'll do that. And then we will do a little bit of this. Sorry for the dead time.
No, it's all good. It happens.
There we go. That's better. All right. So this will be a nice surprise for you.
Ooh.
Okay, so what this titulature little painting is, this is done by Corey Barton. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He does amazing work. This guy would be like on Heavy Metal Magazine, I think, if it was still around. And anyways, I have, so this is a variant cover that I'm going to do for issue 1, because the plan for this campaign is to take this 50 pages. I'm kicking around the idea. I'm very strongly about it. I'm going to cut it in half and sell them as floppies with different paper, you know, saddle stitch and stuff like that, and try to get it as close to like a $5 floppy as I can, so nice that idea. People will be, you know, it'll entice the people, be like, oh, what's this? Oh, and it's affordable. Cool. So that's what I'm aiming at. And then this Corey Barton, I will have, because like I will still sell the premium one. And then I'll also sell this perfect bound one with the Corey cover is the idea. So the more people that, you know, want it, yeah, that'll be great. So this is one cover, and for issue 2, I have this as a variant cover. This one's done by Jimmy Reyes, and the colorist was Andre something. I can't remember his last name, but he is a tabletop role-playing game artist. Like he's kind of in the you know the scene, and I picked him up. Yeah, I picked him up to do some coloring for me. So yeah, that'll be the alternate or the variant cover for 2. And I'm going to do the same thing with issue 2, where I said, you know, I'm gonna you know, cut it in 2 and try to sell them as floppies. So if the people want it,
I'll probably pick up the Corey cover for research purposes.
I can't get it to go to the next one. 1 second.
Again, technology.
Why won't it progress? Let's try that. Okay. So, all right. So here's some of the pages.
Nice.
I know it doesn't look very super exciting, but this is actually towards the end of the book, where as you can see, they're having a few problems, some turmoil within the group. So here we go. Here's some of the actual in the village fighting.
That coloring is so good.
Yeah. So he, like I said, he did issue 2. I don't know. I guess a couple years ago by now. maybe even 3. Can't remember. He went back since his skill has increased, especially his coloring has increased. He went back and recolored everything.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just really, and he was like, dude, I want to redo it, just because my skills increase. I'm like, it is gorgeous. Thank you.
That's a heck of an artist. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing with mine, because he told me, Jared, I'll go back and redo the on the cover because of my style changes and all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's so cool, an artist is willing to do that, So here's some more of the interior stuff.
And that's the other thing. When I was reading issue 1, what was really cool is that a lot of the action scenes, they look like anime in the best way possible.
Yeah. Well, and that's Jose, he has done animation for like 100 years, in fact, now he's able to, like, he does his own classes, his own art classes and stuff like that. And, it shows he I know that Jose, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, is going to be a much well-known name not too long. So come check out some of his early work, damn it. Here we go. We got the main character, Drake, shooting away at some goblins. I'm just showing some of my more, some of the cooler pages that I like, some of that are real big and can show off some of the coolness. So this one here, we got the goblins and the ogre that they get to encounter. Here they are again. It's like, what is that? And they go running into the village. So this is actually the opening page. This is page 1, where we get to see life on Terra. So at the end, if anybody's read the first one, Terra is the planet that this all converges on, we get to kind of see daily life for potentially a new member of the party. So,
and by the way, you put lens flares in a comic book. That is so cool. Wow. Again, I have never seen that.
Yeah, his art surprises me.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Because like he'll send me, early versions and for approval and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then he'll send me like the finished one. And I'm like,
wow. Wait, what? You got that?
Yeah, like, so it went from that to wow, okay.
For a second there, I was like, wait, are those lens flares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real picture. That's what it is. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So, and then
again, it reads like an animated, like D&D like show. So, and that's like, and it works very well for that book.
Yeah, completely the intent as well. And with Jose's style, it just lends so well to medieval fantasy, first of all. And not only that, and I don't have the pages in my little promo folder here yet, but what you haven't seen is the Knights of Locutus #2, which will also be in this book. So and those pages are crazy. I don't know if you're familiar with Jose's other work outside of this, but his abstract art ability is next to none that I've seen in indie comics at all. So he's really just on his own level. And I love the fact that he gets to stretch his legs out. Yeah. At least I try to give him some cool ass shit to draw, because with the god stuff, he can get as crazy and big as he wants. They just get, well, like I think you said in your review, is like the style difference as far as like the details and stuff like that. Like, it does feel that way. He just he cranks it up a little bit just for the god stuff.
Because again, if you're dealing with gods, that like adds significantly to what you can actually draw and get away with, because they're gods. You don't necessarily have to worry about, does this look realistic? They're gods.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but like the environment that they're in, he'll just have like some cool swirly design or something, and it just looks gorgeous the way he does. I don't know how to explain.
The other thing it reminds me of, it's like stained glass, like paneling on like a church that they use to like tell stories about Christ or like any type of religious imagery, and it's God. So it works 100% for that.
Man, I wish there's a couple of panels that I wish I could share. It will be on the campaign. Unfortunately, on Indiegogo, with the sign up page, they don't give you a lot to work with. So there's not a lot of images that I could share. But if you go there, just hit that sign up, and please help a brother out, because when I get to 100 signups, then I will focus on completing the campaign, posting it and going live, and everybody can just see some of those pages that you're not able to on the sign up, you know.
Oh boy, I can't wait. So the other question I have, and I probably asked you this the first time I had you on, but you might as well remind me. So where did the idea of like telling also the God story come from?
Well, I'm not sure what I said the first time, but basically that's just the way that I kind of I think, and I guess I kind of DM that way as well. Like a lot of times I'll do, we'll do like two kind of parties doing the same plot line. But really, it's like as the first issue was getting made, I wanted to tell more of the story from a different perspective. And I know the meta story of why all this stuff happens to these low-level guys. And so I was like, the audience would love to see that, to see the gods kind of talking, like what is it, Clash of the Titans, where like you see the gods kind of discussing what the hell's going on, and like what their plans, what their motivations are. And then on the lower, in the main story, in the low level area or side, you get to see how that plays out. It's like these are big events. The gods, yawning can make a big deal to mortals.
It adds a lot of stakes to the storytelling, because like you said, with a flick of their finger, lives change.
Yeah. And so with it being a kind of complex high fantasy setting, there are certain like boundaries, like the gods just can't just, they just appear physically, in the physical world, and, and then just like snap their fingers and a million people die or something. So there are boundaries and there are limitations to everything. And those things will slowly play out. And actually in the third book, spoilers, in the third book is going to be a massive battle where the gods, you kind of see their limitations and how they overcome those as well. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of issue 1, because, and I said part of the reason why I've always liked DC more than Marvel is because I've always been like a fan of sword and sorcery, Greek myth, and DC naturally of the two fit more of that mold than Marvel does, because again, the Justice League are gods amongst men. So
that's basically they're labeled after the what's that called, the Aeneid, right? So
I mean,
you got your
one of the characters on the Justice League is literally a Greek myth. So there you go. So it's like I've always like really enjoyed like all the god storylines, and so when I was reading that, I was like, this feels like this is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I've gotten so many people who love the god stories. So there may be a time where that becomes its own animal. So we'll just see what the customers ask for, or not only that, but what the story asks for as well.
Yeah.
So
particularly, it's greatly added, I think, by the subtle change in art style when you get to the gods. Because to a degree, it's a gamble to tell two stories at once. It is, and having a small detail as like having the art shift a little bit, I think helps separate it so the audience knows, okay, it's a different story, but obviously it's connected to the one I just read.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and I think Jose stuck the landing on that.
Yeah, he nailed it. Like, jeez.
So I'm cool with that. And not only that, but the colors, man, I wish I had those. So with the colors on the main story, the palette is so big, and then with the god story you see a lot more colors come out, so it's like it's a little bit more expressive even.
It looks very anime inspired, and it works for the story.
A little cheesecake. I think so. I mean, I don't know, it's almost every time I get on a show with a decent chat or crowd or whatever, Yeah, that's one of the things that come up in the chat is like, that looks like a, you know, an anime or something. It's like, yeah, it's basically Western anime style. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Which and that's also a good way to go, considering how anime and manga have taken over stuff. I mean, how
Yeah.
last year when I went to Florida SuperCon, about 99% of it was like manga and anime stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa. That's good to know.
Yeah, we were walking around and I turned my co-host. I'm like, there's way, even my dad, he was like, because again, it's a Comic-Con and it's in America, and you would expect to see a lot of Marvel DC stuff. Not really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. Well, I mean, they're all struggling right now, right? From my understanding.
Yeah. Also add up to the fact that Marvel and DC are like not exactly, like you said, they're not exactly in the best area in terms of like movies or TV or anything like, or like even comic books. It's not working out so well.
Yeah. Which, you know, I'm okay with, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean,
it gives you the market. There you go.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Well, if ever there was a time to be crowdfunding books, it's now.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I did share in the private chat
Cool.
the sign up page. So
yeah.
if anybody is interesting, pretty please go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, with this Immortal Rising, I mean, there's nobody else doing this kind of story. All the fantasy stuff isn't quite this high fantasy. You know, I think it's a fair mix of like the darkness of, say, a Castlevania meets the high fantasy, epic fantasy of Final Fantasy. So I think it's a pretty good marriage of the two. And you're not going to see that, I don't think, in any other fantasy book that I've seen. I try to collect them all. You know, I'm kind of like a Pokemon guy like that. And so it's unique story, unique story structure, as far as like the two encompassing one main event and all that. I don't think anybody else is doing anything close to this. So it's just fun.
Brown Destroyer brings up very interesting art. If Avatar had comics, this art is also suitable for that. Avatar does have comics, but there you go, right there. We just brought up how it looks very anime inspired. There you go, right there. Ask and you shall receive.
Told you.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I love it. I agree 100%.
Yeah, it works 100%.
And what's funny is we just like, I randomly kind of met him and you know, hooked up with him early on when he was trying to, you know, he's like, I'm interested in getting into comic books. And I was like, perfect. I'm interested in getting into comic books too. We should hang out. Next thing you know, we just hit it off, and here we are.
Yes, same with me. It's like with my artist, it's like we're currently in like the character design stage, and he'll send me something, and I'll go, "That is exactly the way I pictured it in my head, like to a T." That's the best feeling when you get an artist that absolutely nails what you're going for on the first try. Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. Oh, I love it.
It definitely works, and yeah, I love all the wind effects, everything here. It has a lot of energy, and plus also, if I may say so, the writing is also pretty good, if I may say so myself.
Oh, thank you.
Particularly the gods part, because it's difficult to get like the grandeur of like the gods, and I think you pretty much nailed it.
Right on. I appreciate that. And going forward, I think you'll see even more of that. Like in issue 2. So I should say at the end of issue 1. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear. We got imps in the dungeon. Anyways, in the end of issue 1, we see the two main god characters, Erickson and Listo. They're in hell. They are dealing with a betrayer of some battle that happened in the past, and they're like, no, we're gonna murk them. So they're in hell when they get the information that this major event just happened, and the big bad guys, the Bammonites, are invading a planet, and they're like, what the hell is going on with that? So that was kind of the end of issue 1. In issue 2, we pick up with the gods meeting, having like a meeting, right? Meeting a couple of the other guys, but they meet in this badass flying castle
Oh, yes.
I wish I had the damn thing here, but he's kind of still. So he's redoing the art, and then later on we're gonna add the dialogue. So as far as I know, that's kind of the process that he's in right now. And I don't have the updated art completely yet. So, but yeah, and anyway, so we kind of see them figuring out like moving chess pieces a little bit. Okay, well, what's this? What's going on? Them trying to chew on what's going on, and then they decide. A little spoiler, I guess. They decide to go check it out. They're like, all right, we need to figure out. Let's go. Let's sneak ourselves over there and see. What is this? What is going on behind all of this? And that's basically what happens in issue 2, where we meet another god. So that'll be fun.
Oh boy, I love that. And we all know that that's always a fun time when gods meet each other. That's in for a world of hurt.
Well, yeah, because at first they're like, I don't know, are we gonna fight? So there's a little bit of that in there.
I love that. Yeah, and as Brown says, the art is very alive, and I can tell you also, so is the writing. So that's always the most fun. Plus, with the whole God stuff, it's like essentially, I think I said this in my review. It's like getting 2 stories in one, and I'm all for that.
Yeah,
particularly for like. For a story of this scale, it works to have the stories like to have 2 stories going at once if you can manage it, which you can, because I can tell you for one thing, you wrote it really well.
Nice, thank you. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can open up some stuff here.
Sweet. So while you do that, I will bring up. I have a recommendation for you. So.
Okay.
You may have seen this already, but have you seen Blood of Zeus?
I remember I tried starting it, and I haven't gotten very far in it.
It's essential. It's Greek gods, but anime. It's really good.
Nice. That is cool.
And they play off a lot of the sword and sorcery. But speaking of sword and sorcery, it is the other thing that's really cool about the crowdfunding comics is that there's more variety in terms of storylines, like sword and sorcery. There's even like hardcore military storylines. There's cowboy storylines. There's so much more. So I'm like,
there's a lot going on in indies.
Yeah, as opposed to like just superhero stuff. All in all, oh wow.
So So ignore. This is the old pages. These are not the updated ones. So just to let you understand, this is not as crisp as it will turn out.
Yeah.
Not only that, but all this dialogue has changed. So don't freeze frame and zoom in.
Enhance.
Yeah, enhance. And unfortunately, like I said, this is the older stuff, but all of this will be touched up. Yep.
That looks so. Yeah, I can definitely tell where people are seeing the Warhammer 40K inspiration in terms of the armor.
I mean, look at that. Look at that.
So good. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's my point. It works for a god storyline. There you go.
I can't show anymore. I don't know. I'll sit here and read it to you if I'm. So
there you go. It works for the god story. I always say, the most important thing for like indie creators is to have an art style that fits the tone of the story.
Yeah.
And again, this does that to a T on both storylines. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm sure Jose likes to hear that as well. I mean, I don't know. It would be so cool just to see if I could like fast forward like 5 years and just see how much we work together. Because me and Jose, we've done issue 1, issue 2 of Immortal Rising. We did Immortal Rising Tales #1, which was in Anvil Magazine #2, and we also did a black and white. Dystopian, like dystopian, futuristic dystopian story. That was like a short story. I think it was 8 pages, and that is actually in a small comic called Out of Obscurity by Arrow Comics. It was just like a collection of a few people's work and stuff like that. So I got that in there as well, and so we've done quite a I guess a handful of projects together. And I hope that after we do these 3, that he'll stay on. He says that he enjoys it. So with his style, I think it'd be hilarious. Is if we just kind of stayed together because people love us, love us working together, which would be excellent. Because everybody's like, the writing and the art match very well. So, which is really encouraging.
Imagine if you like fast forward 5 years and you have a dope omnibus.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to do at the very least 1 book a year. My goal was to launch issue 2 at the end of last year, but with me being a new guy, plus real life stuff and things like that, I'm fine with 1 at a time. So I just want the customers to get everything. I want it to be no hiccups, no problems, and then here comes issue 2. And everybody's kind of ready for it.
Heck yeah, I certainly am excited for that one.
Now, I do want to say, sorry to interrupt, I do want to say I do have a few more copies on Fund My Comic right now of this, and it will also come with the stretch goals of the first campaign, which the stretch goals were like 7 stickers of the main characters. There's a magnet, logo magnet, as well as an ad card that I used because I overfunded, hit past my goal. And so I had a little bit of cash. I was like, how about I just turn this ad that I've been using, online, turn it into a card and send it to the backers as like a thank you and stuff. Because 1, it's gorgeous. And 2, it's just a thing. And it's this image in the book that, my buddy Chris, who was handling my graphics on the campaign, he cut it out of there. I don't know if you can see it's this
that
one.
is so good. Oh yeah.
Let's make it rain. Woo. And then this over here, I don't know. I may turn that into a shirt or a poster or something.
You gotta use that. I was about to say you gotta use that image and something, because that's just too good of an image.
Yeah. And then this one over here, I really want to put on a shirt. I think
that's a shirt picture right there.
That's like a heavy metal fucking cover or something.
Now, last question I have for you is that if you could have any piece of advice for a starting indie creator, what would that be?
Don't do it. No.
Don't do it. Exactly. Look at what Marvel and DC are doing and do the opposite.
Yeah. I will say, really take your time before you jump in. Make sure that you have an audience. One of the things that I did was I started a channel. Not that you have to, like, there are people in the indie scene that just use other people's channels, but I wanted to network and interview other indie creators. One, I wanted to network with them, and 2, I wanted to interview them to ask them questions of how they are handling their campaigns, the issues, the people they were dealing with to do things for them, stuff like that, which is actually how I met the guy who does my fulfillment now, Critical Blast, who does an excellent job. So any indie creators out there who are looking for a very affordable fulfillment, get a hold of Critical Blast on Twitter or whatever, X or whatever it's called, and hit him up. So the guy handles not just small stuff like me, where I had like maybe 150 backers or whatever, and he's done much bigger campaigns, like people that you may know. Like I think he did J3PO, and he did Reenie Draws, and he's done quite a few people, plus a lot of smaller guys. So I love it. So fun. But I guess for the advice part, really make sure that 1, you have an editor go over your stuff. 2, know your audience, and 3, start to build like a reputation or a name. Get on shows, kind of talk about it, hype yourself up, get used to selling, and talking on camera, that kind of stuff. I guess, that's probably some of my best advice out of it all.
Yeah.
And tell a story that you want to tell. Tell a story that means something to you. Yeah.
That's what I've always told people, is that first off, even on the YouTube side, collabing is like the main way that you can grow, because because for about a year or two, when I started out, I only had like 32 subscribers, and that's probably just family and friends and stuff, and I would release stuff. Then when I started collabing with people, that's when you like build up. The other thing is that you have to have content that will make people stay, because obviously the way collabing works, that their audience comes to your channel. If you don't have content to keep them there, they're just gonna bounce off like Superman.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, retaining people, it's not the easiest thing. So
I'm still working on that, but it's
me too. I've been at this for a couple of years, and I just broke 300 at the beginning of the year.
Hey.
So
It takes time, brother, but this is the other thing I always tell people. As long as you have passion for what you're doing, you will go past all those times where it looks like no one's watching or something like that. So
yeah,
it happens to all of us, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So in the private chat, I shared my Fund My Comic link. I think that'll work. Yeah, and then also check out my channel. Speaking of channels, so I have done, I don't know, I did like a year and a half or something like that of interviews and stuff, and doing like talking about pop culture stuff, which is all right, but I don't always keep up with that. And a lot of times it was stuff that I wasn't going to watch. Like, I'm not going to go watch, Marvels or whatever. I'm not interested in that. And I'm not interested in enough. I'm not interested in enough to complain about it either. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to move away from that. And me and my co-host, Chris from Infinitail, he, me and him, we're doing trivia shows. We'd invite on a couple guests, and based on their genre and their product that they were trying to pitch, we would do like a half hour. The first half of the show would be I would do up trivia questions, and we'd sit there and do like a Jeopardy kind of style trivia, and all of it was just for jokes and stuff. And then on the back half, they get to talk about their project stuff. That was really fun. It was a little bit more work than I could maintain for more than like 4 or 5 months, but it was fun, and I may go back and do some more of that. But because I got some good jokes. Yeah, I would go back and I'd cut the shorts. I cut the funnier parts out of it and make it into a short and stuff, and that was cool. But
that's how you do it. Do it. But
sorry, go ahead.
And all of those links should be in the description below.
Nice. And now we're kind of going more into reading and reviewing, just like on air, we'll just live stream it. Luckily, I've had some excellent, like backup from the creators themselves. Like, hey, do you mind if I, read through and show everything, spoilers and all in your book, on your issue 1 or whatever. And they're all like, yes, that's fine. That's totally fine. And that has been so awesome because, we'll do like an hour and a half stream. We did an hour and a half long stream on Michael Bancroft's The Lucent. Great book. Amazing book. And it just took us that long because the three of us who were reading it and reviewing it, we had a lot to say, it wasn't, it's not the short form, 5-minute one where like, okay, this is the book and this is what it was like and stuff like that. No, we sit there and we actually read page by page and talk about it like, we used to do at the comic book shop for, the Marvel stuff. So, it's like, we want to talk about the indie stuff that we're buying, not just shill all the time,
Yeah. That works.
Because it is its own scene. It's not just hey, I bought your book because you bought my book kind of stuff,
It's its own thing, and a lot of the times, a lot of the books are better than what Marvel and DC are putting out. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I got away from mainstream comics quite a long time ago, and I would go back and I'd watch those YouTube channels where they would recap like whole story arcs and stuff like that, just so I could kind of what's been going on since I stopped buying, and those are okay, but some of the pages I see get shared on social media, the ones that are not fake, the ones that
the art is
I'm just like, what is going on here?
It's like you find out. It's like you find out the X-Men are now on an orgy island, and I'm like, the hell is this?
Yeah, it's not the X-Men, it's the Sex-Men now.
Yeah, it's the Sex-Men. That's good.
Like, okay, great.
I'm like, oh gosh. But Batman's even more depressed than usual because he's written by Tom King, and it takes a lot to make Batman even more depressed.
Oh God. Like, I mean,
like,
broody is fine. Depressed is not good, you know?
All right. I'll give you a little preview to what happened in the Wonder Woman comics. So they flashed back to the George Perez contest where she first became Wonder Woman. Except the writer felt the need to add something.
A dick? I don't know. What does Wonder Woman got now?
All right. So
butt sex? I don't know.
She punched her mother in the face.
Oh God.
I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, she's toppling the patriarchy or something. I don't know.
She's punched her mother, though. That's the matriarchy. That's kind of the Amazon society. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, I get the feeling the writer has some mommy issues he's trying to work through.
Well, did she shout "Viva la Revolution" when she did it? I don't know. Okay,
it was Diana, so it's not like she was
pissed.
Oh my God, that's the other thing. Where like they had a storyline where like Batman's flying through Gotham as it's being looted, and he just flies in the opposite direction, and he goes, "They have insurance."
I think I remember people talking about that. Yeah, he's like, he just didn't care. He's like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, so are you just saying that? Is that just the writer saying that because of the Summer of Love of 2020 or whatever year that was?
I think so, because here's the thing.
That is detestable. You know how many, neighborhoods were destroyed? Like,
well, not only that,
small businesses.
Not only that, Batman has a very black and white view on crime. He's like, if you're committing a crime, no matter your justification, you're going in jail.
Yeah, I'm going to break your arm, and then I'm going to put you in jail.
I'm going to break way more than that if you're Batman, depending on the Batman, because that's the funny thing about Batman. They're always like, he won't kill, but he'll brutally maim someone. Like, whenever he throws a batarang and it goes, like, deeply into someone's arm, you can't tell me it didn't cut the artery in the arm.
It's true. He loves. I love the whole meme of him. He's a psycho who loves beating up poor, desperate criminals.
I saw.
Like, he's got a family. He's a criminal because he has a family, and he can't. He's got a bad back. He can't hold a job or whatever. Meanwhile, Batman just like rearranges his organs, not in a good way.
I saw this great meme on Twitter because it would have to be on Twitter because the Twitter fandom is ridiculous. Someone was screaming that Batman's a fascist, a rich fascist who beats up poor people. I'm like, first off, you don't know what a fascist is. And second off, the Joker ain't a poor person.
Yeah, he's just a psychopath.
It's just astounding. I know it's kind of funny. I found the reason why there was a steep decrease in quality from the big two. They started catering to Twitter.
That would make sense.
Because if you see because a lot of the times when you look at Twitter, everyone is, for one thing, shipping characters together who, by the way, are just friends. It's just apparently, according to Twitter and Tumblr, if two characters show a look, they're obviously in love. And I'm like, no.
They don't have to be.
Even Anthony Mackie, when someone asked if they were going to put Winter Soldier and Falcon together, he goes, it's possible for two dudes to be friends, right?
Yeah, straight to the old butt sex. They can't help it. Because it replaces the need for any kind of like personality, right? That is their personality.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem with it, because it's not like LGBTQ characters aren't cool, because they are. Look at Midnighter and frickin' Apollo. It's just the way they're written now is that's their whole identity.
That's all they are.
That's it. Or they're
I just wonder if it has to do with public schools. Like the public schools, they're getting drilled into their brain just all about like identity politics and shit. And so maybe that's the only thing that they understand anymore. I don't know.
It could. It really depends. Or they're just crappy writers that have to rely on that stuff for work. That's probably it. That's probably it.
Not only that, but you get like the how else are you going to get your investments, right? You need that investment capital coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And well, here's the thing. I can't blame them because these companies need money. But on that note, that's a good place to wrap it up on that and that very high note. But Aaron, it was a pleasure having you on again. Remind the audience where that they can find you.
Oh, right on. You can find me on Twitter I'm easily and my DMs are open. So if you ever want to ask me anything or whatever, yeah, hit me up for anything. Also, check me out on Fund My Comic. I've got, I don't know, it's dwindling down to the last of my stock. I maybe have a half dozen copies of that left, and that it'll be this quality, right? This, I don't know if you can hear that paper. It's very thick paper. The colors are amazing.
Yeah,
you can go and check it all out on the there she is. Oop, there she is.
There you go.
Go check it out on Fund My Comic, and I will tell you, you will buy.
Speaking of Warhammer,
you will buy it. I have a 100% turnover on that stuff. So yeah, just go check it out. Get all the stretch goals from the last campaign. This is the last time I'm going to offer all that stuff the way it is. So yeah, this is the buy now, act now. And then after that, go to the sign up on Indiegogo, and yeah, or I guess it's in the links in the comment. Go sign up and let me know that you're interested in seeing more of it. You know, that's all I need. It doesn't, you're not required to buy anything. All you got to do is click the sign up so that my numbers can go up and I can see that there's interest, and I hit that magical 100 number, and that puts me into my next phase. So please go help me out.
Heck yeah. And it reaches the comics lord seal of approval. So there you go. There.
There you go. If you trust Jared's opinions, please come check us out.
Which you should, because I run the channel, so you should trust my opinion.
Yeah,
but anyway,
and you have good taste.
Why, thank you, sir. But anyway, so see you guys later. And remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lame. I'll see you later, everyone.